welcome back, or welcome to a new reading vlog. So in today's reading vlog we are going to be doing my Instagram followers pick my reads for the week. So what I've done is, obviously I've done this video before, but I basically put like 3 different polls up onto Instagram, got people to vote on which one they wanted based on emojis, and then what we're going to do is find out which one got the highest one. I'll tell you guys what book it correlated to in terms of emojis, and then we're going to read them. So what I did is I put 3 polls for 3 different genres. So I did a thriller / mystery, I did a fantasy, and then I did a romance. And yeah, I thought I would like have it mixed up because those are like the 3 genres that I kind of dabble in. But I'm really excited to do some reading, and especially like thriller. I haven't really read much of a thriller since about December time, but I am excited to read one. I'm in the mood to read one. Same with fantasy. I've been in a really big fantasy kick at the moment and like obsessed with reading fantasy. And then obviously we have a romance, which, you know, you guys know I always love. And what I've done obviously is we got the 3 polls, so we're going to go over the first one. So the first one I did was a mystery / thriller poll, and on the, I'm trying to think about what you guys will see, so it'll be on the screen obviously, but on the left hand side, no, that's not do it like that because I'm going to get myself confused with my left and right. So on one side we have a thumbs up, a thumbs down, and then a girl, and then the other one we have a house, a broomstick, and then we have eyes. So what I've done for those is the first book is Good Bad Girl, which I have in physical form, and then we have The Housemaid is Watching. That's the closest I could get to like a housemaid is watching. That I have on my Kindle because I do not have the physical copy. And then what we're going to do is find out what people voted for in terms of ratings. So the first one with the thumbs up, thumbs down, and the girl got 40%, and then the other one got 60%, which is a house, the broomstick, and the eyes, which means the book that we will be reading is The Housemaid is Watching by Freida McFadden. I am so excited to read this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to obviously show you guys what was picked, read it, and then we're going to pick the next book like that. But I'm really excited to read this. This is the 3rd book in the Housemaid series. As you guys know, I love this series so much. The first and second book, the first book's always going to be like the OG, but the second book was also great, and it's being made into a movie, so I am really excited to, you know, read this one. I don't know what actually is going to happen in this one, but following from the first 2, we're going to have like the same thing. We have Millie, who is the main character. She is a housemaid, and obviously in the first book, I'm going to go to the first book, but each book's different, but it is based off the same character. So she obviously works as a housemaid. She has like this dark past. She's just come out of prison, and then she goes and works for this family, husband, wife. I think they actually have a baby in the first one, I'm trying to think. And yeah, basically stuff starts to like kind of happen. The wife is like really awful, and then the husband's quite like charming, and it's basically her kind of trying to hide her secret and obviously work as a maid. And then the second book is obviously following on from that, and she's in a new family now, and basically following on from what happened in the first book. And then obviously the 3rd book, I'm guessing, is going to be a continuation of the one before then, but I'm really excited to read it. So this is going to be book number 1. I'm going to be heading out to the park today, so I think what I'm going to do is read on the way, because I'm reading on my Kindle as well. This is probably not going to take me long to read, because the first 2 books, the first one I think I read within a day, and the second one I think I read within a few hours. So this one I think is going to be easy breeze. They're just so fun to read, so easy and so fast paced. I'm going to stop yapping, we're going to start reading, and I'll give you guys an update in a bit. So yes, let's get started, shall we? Let me stop talking. So guys, I am back home. It is, I don't even know what time it is, but I'm back home and I thought I'd give you guys an update before it gets dark. I've been home for about half an hour now, but I've literally just been sat listening to music with my headphones. But we're on chapter 25, page 133, and we're around 38% through the book. So I've read quite a bit today, and despite me going obviously to the park, I went to the park and I thought I was gonna like listen to an audiobook, realizing there's no audiobook for this book on Spotify, and I wasn't paying money to like read it on audiobook, so on like Audible. So what I decided to do, I just did my reading journal, which I'll show you guys because it's so freaking cute. I was like, even though this video is reading vlog, I want to show you guys my reading journal. So obviously we're in March now, so what I did is I did my reads for February, just wrote them in, and my ratings. And then what I also did is I did my March. So this is my March spread. I've gone for like flowers. These green things are supposed to be clovers, like three leaf clovers, but like they weren't coming out very well. So we have those. We have like some orange flowers, and then there's like daisies going around, and then on this side is my TBR, and I did like giant daisies. That's what I usually do, is like something a bit different on this side, a little bit bigger, and then this has got like loads of little things around it. And then obviously we've got March, and then we've got my usual layout, which I realized I didn't write, which usually I have notes and new releases that I write at the bottom. And yeah, I'm just obsessed with the way it looks. I feel like each page has a unique like take to it. Same with like this one. This was like February, for example, and then obviously this was January's one. And yeah, just spent time doing that and just chilling really. And then I obviously did a reading when I first, like on the way there, and then on the way back home. And yeah, to talk about this book, we obviously have Millie again, we have Enzo. If you guys do not know who I'm talking about, obviously Millie spoke about before. Enzo is a character that you meet from the first book. He's here again in the third book, and this book is actually 15 years later. They've got 2 children, and they've just moved into this new neighborhood, and yeah, they moved into this new neighborhood. They have this like really nice house. She's a social worker now, and yeah, she's no longer a maid. She is doing what she basically wanted to do. And yeah, it's very interesting, I can say at the moment. Like a lot has happened in this book compared to like when I first started it. So now we basically have their neighbours, so they've met their neighbours. So we have this like one neighbour, she comes across as like very friendly, but like very particular, quite like, I'm imagining her as like one of those hot rich mums, but without children. Like she has no children, and she has no like, she doesn't want children. She kind of reminds me of the stepmom, or soon to be like the girlfriend or fiance of the dad in The Parent Trap. That's kind of the vibes I'm like feeling. And she's married, but like she's very flirty with Enzo. And I'm not gonna lie, Enzo's really getting on my nerves, because I feel like he is like feeding into it. Like she's flirting with him, and like, girl, Millie, if that was my man, I'd box him up. And Enzo as well, like he's not a character that you would think like is timid or something like that. No, he's not. In the first book, he was on one basically. And yeah, I don't know how I'm feeling right now. Like I'm obsessed with like the plot line and like finding out what's happening. Like Millie's having a really hard time in this neighborhood. At first she's really excited, and then obviously we have her, the neighbor, that's trying to kind of like flirt with her husband. And then we have this other neighbor who has this son, and she's like very, very weird. No one really likes her in like the neighborhood. She's very like reserved, quiet. She kind of looks old, and then she's also kind of coming across as like not a nice person either. And both these women don't like each other, but it's like, why don't they like each other? What is the whole thing? And obviously they're moving into this new neighborhood. This is a very fresh plot, like compared to the first 2 ones, and we're 15 years into the future. So wow, it's been a very long time coming, and I'm really enjoying that. I want to know what's happening. So that is where I'm at in terms of reading The Housemaid. I'm gonna stop yapping, because you guys know that I can yap for all of eternity, and I'm gonna do some editing, and then I'll speak to you guys later, hopefully to do some reading as well. But I probably won't speak to you guys again until tomorrow evening. But yeah, let's get back to reading. wanted to give you guys the final update on The Housemaid's Secret. We've just like finished part 2. We are now on part 3, so about 75% through on page 271. And oh my gosh, what has just happened right now? This book is going so quickly. Like, I got up to about 40% yesterday. I didn't read any more yesterday because I was busy editing, and then today I did a food shop, and then I just come back and then I had some lunch. But it's literally zoomed through. Like, I would like read, look at the chapter count, and I'd be like 5 chapters ahead, and it's so easy to read. I'm so involved in the whole world, like I'm so immersed into it, and that's what Freida McFadden does so well. She can really immerse every single of her readers into the world that she is trying to create. And hands down, like Millie as well, like I absolutely love her, and what they're doing with her and Enzo, I'm not happy with that, and I want to learn more, and I just don't know what's going to happen next. I think part 3 we are going on to the POV of another character, the one that has now revealed that they had killed another person. And yeah, let's just say I'm ready to like get back in there. I'll just quickly film this for you guys, like a little update to say that I'm 75% through, and then I'll give you guys a final update once I'm finished. But I think I'm gonna probably finish this in the next like hour or so, and then we're gonna start our next book. But I'm fully immersed with this. I'm obsessed with it. I just want to sit through McFadden's books. They're always gonna be so like, as I said, immersed, so easy to read, and because you're like so immersed in what you're reading, before you know it, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm nearly finished. So that's my update really for now. I'm going to continue reading, and I'll speak to you guys once I've finished. So I have just finished The Housemaid is Watching. It is a little while later, and guys, when I tell you these books go so quickly, it has literally only been about 20 minutes since I last spoke to you guys in terms of reading this book. The last 25% through by like nobody's business. We obviously got the point of view, the view of the killer, and wow, it started from like the beginning of like why they decided to do why they did, and then there was something else that was like kind of hopping around. So there's this like thing that Janice told Millie like the first time they moved there, about like when she met her at the bus station, the bus stop, and she was like, oh, how come you're not picking him up, yada yada yada, and like talking about how this boy went missing a few towns over, and that they like he went missing and the parents couldn't find him again, and basically end up coming back to that. And when you find out like how that linked to everything, you're like, and like Nico, now it makes more sense about what was happening. And wow, that ending just like it's so like adrenaline pumping. Like I was just like wanting to read like what's happening, and then being able to also connect the dots as well is really important. And then we also had the side character of the housemaid that came to like work with Millie and like help clean their house, and now I understand why it's called The Housemaid is Watching, because she was kind of like a little stalker. But it wasn't like really linked to the whole like plot of it, if I would say. And yeah, it was just really creepy, very eerie, but like really fun and really fast paced. And yeah, I'm obsessed with this series. And yeah, it was the final installment in the Housemaid series. And yeah, these books are like perfect for like going into reading something you're in, reading something you want something that's like really easy to read. Definitely recommend. And I think in terms of rating, I'm gonna give this book probably a 4.75. The only reason it's not a 5 stars is the fact that like the plot didn't really correlate to the title, and I wanted maybe a little bit more depth into, because it's very fast paced, you would expect it to like, I don't know, it's like fast paced but it feels like it's rushed sometimes at the same time, especially when you hear like the killer's point of view. But maybe it's because of like how easy it is to read. You don't really digest the information. Well, you do, because I remember everything that's happened start to finish because it's so easy to read. But even though it's easy to read, it wasn't like going shortcuts, if that makes sense. But I think for rating, I'm going to give it a 4.75, purely because of that little statement, and also because I didn't have like the 5-star feeling. But like Freida McFadden, if you want thriller mystery, she is the go-to, especially for me, someone that's coming from not reading that, and I think my first kind of mystery thriller, The Housemaid, was like the first one I kind of read. And yeah, I'm obsessed with the series. I need to get the paperback for this because I have the first two, but this one. But nevertheless, really enjoyed reading that. And now it's time for us to have our second read, and I'm going to quickly get the book. But now that is done and we have finished our first read, we are now going to pick out our second read. So I'm going to go on to the next poll that I decided to do. Again, it will be on whatever side it is. So obviously on one side we have a basketball and then a little like couple with like a heart, and that's basically for Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. It is a basketball romance in the Hoop series, the first book. And then the second one is a purple heart, like two people, like two girls, and then a red heart. The two girls is basically supposed to be friends, and it's supposed to be between friends and lovers. And in terms of the polls, 75% of people voted for the basketball and the couple, and 25% voted for the purple heart, the people, and the red heart, which means the book we will be reading next is Long Shot. And yeah, I'm really excited to read this book. It is a black romance by no other than Kennedy Ryan. As you guys know by now, I'm obsessed with Kennedy Ryan, and whilst I wait for Can't Get Enough to come out, we're going to start another series by her, and I'm really excited. This is a basketball series, so I'm hoping it's similar to Love and Basketball. That's one of my favourite movies. So that is going to be book number 2. I'm going to start it this afternoon, maybe this evening, depending how I feel, and then I'll give you guys an update probably in a few days because it is currently Sunday and I have work. But whenever I can, I will update you guys on how it's going with the reading. But I'm really excited to get to it, so let's get to reading. So it is actually a few days later. I haven't spoken to you guys since Sunday where we started Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. I've been reading it on my Kindle just because it's on Kindle Unlimited and it's like 500 pages long. When I have books that are like that long, I prefer to read it on my Kindle, even though like I know I'm gonna enjoy it and read it. It's just that for me it comes across like less daunting when I read it on my Kindle. Like for example, I'm 25% through the book already, so really enjoying it. Iris and August, like for some reason any female character named Iris I automatically seem to love. But obviously this is the book that we're reading, and in terms of a little bit of an update, because I haven't literally filmed anything, obviously as you guys saw I said that I will speak to you guys soon when I have an update, and I didn't film any of like me reading it basically because I didn't do any reading yesterday, which was Tuesday, and I didn't do any reading on Monday. So today's Wednesday, but this morning I have been reading it in bed because I have a lie-in. So obviously we're reading Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. So it features two characters, August and Iris, and basically August is a basketball player, and I think they're both like college age when they first originally meet, and basically they meet at a bar. Like he decides to go to a bar on the day before the basketball match, like the championship, and it's the day of his dad's birthday, the day that is happening, and he's basically like, he doesn't know what he's feeling, but he's feeling a bit down, and August decides to obviously go to this bar. This is where it begins, and as he's leaving he hears a woman, a beautiful woman, screaming basically at the TV while she's watching a basketball game, and basically he's like automatically like, I don't know, he just sees her and he's not expecting that, and he goes up to her, and obviously it's a little bit of like a little cute meet cute where he's like flirting with her. She's basically like, I'm not like flirting with, like she knew who he was automatically because obviously he's a famous basketball player. and obviously she knew who he was exactly, and basically they have this tension. They've literally revealed so much to each other, just meeting each other, because they have like a lot of in common in terms of like their past with like their families, and I think they related really as well because they're both mixed race, I believe, and obviously they both like related to each other, like feeling out as like an outsider and stuff like that, and that's something that I could really relate to because I'm mixed. Like I really could connect to that with the two characters. So basically we see that happens, and then basically it's like time to leave. I think they're like, we need to go separate ways, it's been a bit later, and basically like he tries to kiss her and she's like, no I can't, I've got a boyfriend, and obviously he's like, no, she's got a boyfriend, and they go their separate ways. Like the what if, like there's no like kissing or anything that's happened, and then what happens is they obviously separate, and then the next day he has his championship game against another basketball team, and he sees her there, and she's no other than the girlfriend to his rival on the opposite team. They've been rivals since they've known each other since the 8th grade. He doesn't like him, he doesn't think he's a nice person. I think Caleb's supposed to be white, I'm not sure. He had like blonde hair, blue eyes, so I'm guessing he's white. And yeah, they meet, we have that, yada yada yada, and obviously it's a bit of the what if, the rival, and then she basically, something happens and she's basically now attached to this guy Caleb, and now I'm at the point where she's kind of deciding what she's going to do. And I've heard that this book actually has quite sad stuff that happens. I can already feel like and know what's going to happen in this book, and everyone said like the first 50% of this book is really hard to get through, and I already feel very protective over these characters. Let's just say we're only 115 pages in, and when I was roughly like 80 pages in, I was like, this book could be a 5-star. So I'm gonna keep on reading, see how I am. We're only like 26% through. My plan for today is to maybe get 50% because I am really enjoying this. Like I didn't actually want to put it down, but obviously I needed to get up and ready for the day, but I thought I would give you guys a mini little update of how I'm feeling about this book. But yeah, that's my update for now. I'm gonna get back to reading. Also, I got a new Kindle case, guys. Obviously you're thinking like at first, what the hell is she holding in her hand? This is my Kindle. And look, what I love about this, as soon as I open it, it goes straight onto my passcode, and I can literally just fill it in, and then when you shut it, it basically locks it again, which is really helpful because sometimes, like, do you know when you fall asleep in bed, I would fall asleep and my Kindle would be on still, and because of that, like, I unconsciously will be like tapping, and I'll wake up in the morning, next minute I've read like 100 pages more than I would have, so I have to like go and find back what like page I'm on. Whereas with this, when I'm reading, it will pretty much like close by itself, and then it will close, and then it'll just lock. So I love it, it's really cute. I'll link down below where I got it. I got it from Etsy, and it's got like really bows and stuff like that. But I'm gonna stop yapping because I can yap for Britain. But let's go back to reading Long Shot. And yeah, I'm not surprised I love this book because Kennedy Ryan, the way she writes as well, like chef's kiss, and I'm excited to continue reading, so let's get to it. Speak to you guys in a bit. Thought I would give you guys a quick update before I leave for work. It is really early in the morning. but look how bright it is. Like, it's not even 7 yet, and it is super, super bright. But we've flown by this book. Even yesterday I didn't get any footage, but I literally spent the evening binging this book. I'm currently on 85% of this book, and as you guys saw, I did a little bit of me reading before I went out, and I think I got to like we got to like 43%, so even a little bit more from when I first met you guys, because I said it was 25%, and now we're on 85% or 86% through the book. We're on chapter 50, page 405, and let's just say this book, when everyone said that the first 50% would be hard to get through, I did not know that it meant like that. The attention to detail, definitely check out the TWs for this book, because I wasn't prepared because I didn't look them up. I only knew a little bit that I saw on TikTok, and let's just say, like, I cried multiple times and I'm still like triggered. Let's not lie, I'm really triggered right now, even though we're in a happy space right now, and actually something now has now become obvious to everyone. It's now come to light, so we're in a good place now. Like, it's like it was like a year later. Iris is in a better place. She has her daughter, yada yada. I'm not going to spoil anything, but loads of things have happened since then, and obviously August and Iris is like right person but wrong time, and then they finally now get the opportunity to be together, and now something has come to light that obviously Iris knows about, but she signed an NDA, so she can't mention it. And then August, he doesn't know what's happened, and basically it's come to light. And yeah, we've just reached the bit now where she has gone to hide, and I'm scared. I had already started this chapter, but I got to a certain bit and I didn't like how it was going, and because it was so late, I was like, no, we're gonna go back a chapter. So I've gone back to chapter 50, and obviously we're 85% through, so we don't have that long left until we finish the book. And I thought I'd give you like a second update of like what's happened, because I haven't given you guys really an update for this book. But let's just say this book's a 5 stars. I haven't even finished it yet. This book's a 5 stars. Iris and August, the way, not even, let's forget them. The way Kennedy Ryan writes about love, and not even just that, but like even the smutty scenes, they're like a work of art to even just read them. But not even just that, like when they're talking to each other, like they're so into, like they're just so in like tune with each other. And like I think it goes from the first book, from the beginning, where they've met each other, they're revealing all this stuff, they didn't really sleep together, they haven't slept together or anything, and this time, like when they had their first scene, this book is slow burn, because they're always constantly like meeting each other, but it's like forbidden because they can't be together, and now they've given the opportunity to finally be together. And I'm so anxious right now. Caleb, let's just say, I don't like him, and also Lotus, I love her so much. She has been through hell and back, and I am so excited. I think she is going to be like one of the main characters in the other books, because we've just met a character, well, we haven't just met him, there's a character that works with August who's a basketball player, and he meets Lotus for the first time when they're in the hospital, and like he doesn't even know her, but he's just there staring at her, and I think them two potentially could be the next couple, and I'm like, the tension. And yeah, this book's just amazing. It is, they remind me a little bit of Rosie and Adam from Unravel Me by Beck and Mac, and like in terms of the relationship and the emotional connection, like this book is just so emotional and raw, and Kennedy Ryan just does it best at all of it. Like she does it best, and everything she touches seems to be gold. So that's all I'm going to say right now, but I thought I'd give you guys an update before I head to work. I'm going to head to work, and I'll speak to you guys in a bit. Bye for now. now from work, and as you guys saw, I just finished Long Shot, so I just continued reading and I finished it. And this book, Iris and August, like, there's just the ending was just so bittersweet, and like my heart was racing, I'm not gonna lie, because a certain thing happened. And as we know, like, this book doesn't have a third act breakup, but because it deals with certain topics, there's always a point where like it's never really done until it's done, if that makes sense. Like, there's different outcomes to certain situations, and yeah, the outcome of this situation is what the person chose based on what they experienced. And Iris has been through so much, and for her to finally get her happy ending, and I really understand now the title of this book, Long Shot, meaning that they weren't together from the beginning. Like, they had to wait to be together. They had met each other when they were in college, and then it was later then they actually got together, because life happens and sometimes you go through relationships and toxic relationships and deal with all these different things. You might have children with other people, and with these two they've always had a connection, just been like right person at wrong time. And yeah, I'm just so happy with the way it ended. It was so bittersweet. This book was just emotional, raw. The way Kennedy Ryan describes everything that you are reading, like even the topics that are hard to read about, the way she describes it, like kind of the poetic writing style that she has, it makes you emotional, like even more emotional than just reading it. Because a lot of times you can read stuff, like even though the topic might be hard hitting and emotional, it might not evoke an emotional feeling, but to actually imagine what the characters are going through and the poetic sense in which it is said and written just makes the book like chef's kiss. So you guys can probably guess what my rating is going to be for this book. So I was saying it's a 5-star. However, as you guys know, you have to have the 5-star feeling. I need to have the 5-star feeling. I would have said this book is a 5-star, but towards the end of the book, like the last 80 to 25 pages, I wasn't as emotional. I feel like I was emotionally drained from like everything that's happened, and I just wanted them to have their happy ending. So I think because I didn't have the 5-star feeling throughout, I feel like the first like 75% I had the 5-star feeling, and it's kind of just falling flat. I don't know if that's just maybe me. So I think for now I'm going to say a 4.75, but it might be logged as a 5-star, I'm not sure yet. But I'm really happy I read this. I'm sorry that there wasn't been much footage of me reading it, because I've just been reading it off camera when I'm in the car and stuff like that, and I've been enjoying the book so much that I didn't even want to pick up a camera, especially the emotional moments. And yeah, that's book number 2. We read it. I am excited now to read more of the books, because we have 2 more books in this series, so I'm excited to read that. And then now we're going to pick our third and final read. So I'm going to get up poll number 3, on like probably on this side. So on one side we have a envelope, we have some stars, and we have a key. And then on the other side we have like a bug, we have a person in a crown, and then like a dirty look. And basically in terms of what won, we're going to go into the next poll. The one that had the male, so the first one, that one had 82%, which means the other book got 18%, which means the book we're going to read is the book which has the male, the star, and the key, and that belongs to no other than Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. And I've been waiting to read this book. Like, this is a fantasy I've been waiting to read, and in this video I thought I would do like a mystery, a romance, and a fantasy, and I'm really excited to read this one. I've heard great things about it. It's like a mystery fantasy. I think it's going to be like a bit of like a historical one as well, so I'm excited to read that. I think it's also enemies to lovers, but I'm not sure like what this is about. So that's going to be our third read for this video. I'm probably going to start reading it maybe now. Am I in the mood to read it now? I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to read it now. My plan for this weekend, today's Thursday, my plan for this weekend is to read it anyway, and this book isn't long at all. So I think today I'm going to have a break, and then tomorrow, Friday, we're going to start reading this and then read it throughout the weekend, kind of like a mood read kind of sesh. So that will be book number 3. I'm going to sit yapping. I will speak to you guys in a few days, and yeah, that's going to be it for now. So I'll speak to you guys when it is time to read Divine Rivals. Guys, so it is actually a week later, and as I told you guys last weekend, I said that I wanted to read some of this because I didn't read much. I think I said that I hadn't started the book yet because I'd been busy with work, but it's been another week, guys, and I would love to give you guys an update on like how much I've read and that I've read so much, but the reality is I haven't read anything extra. I'm literally on chapter 2. Have not even made it through 2 chapters, and throughout this week I was like to myself, at least get to page 100 before you DNF it, but I just don't want to read this book right now. And it's not like this book's horrendous, I don't want to read it, but it's just simply I don't want to read it. And I thought it might be that me may be getting into a book slump, but I have been reading, it's just not been this book, and yeah, that's not really a good sign. And rather than force myself to read it for this video, I thought I wouldn't. I will end this video here, and I wanted to just tell you guys and let you guys know. We've only really gotten to the bit where she's at the office, she's working, but it was boring. Like, me reading it, I wasn't entertained, it was boring, which is so funny because, I don't know, like, even with fantasy books, like when I usually go into a fantasy book, it's not usually like boring, I would say, like, or even like really fast paced and like energetic. It's just more that there's usually a storytelling, like, descriptive manner in that book's start, especially a fantasy book. For example, like let's say One Upon a Broken Heart, the way that book started is kind of like talking about like fairy tales, and then we have this character meeting Evangeline, da 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 da. Even with Fourth Wing, it starts off with Violet on Constituent Day, those types of stuff. And for this book, there's nothing like that. And I think it's the fact that it's like set in kind of like wartime, so I couldn't really wrap my head around like how it was going to be a fantasy to now find out it's going to be fantasy. I was like to myself, okay, I need to push myself, let's get to at least page 100, because you know that sometimes it just might be you getting into the story is the hardest part. And yeah, I only in 20 pages into this book, but I can't continue, guys. I'm actually struggling to continue to reading this. We're not even 10% through, I think, because this book is like 400 pages long, so 10% of that would be about 40 pages. 40 pages? Yeah, it'd be 40 pages, and I've only read 20 pages. So, yeah, if that doesn't tell you guys how I'm feeling about this book at the moment, that is it. I don't want to force myself to read this just so I can have a video for you guys. I will read it though another time, but I wanted to go and show you guys and tell you guys my update because it is a week later. It is like mid-March now. I started this vlog at the start of March. It is now mid-March, but we will be reading this eventually, just not right now. Yeah. That's my update. That's going to be the end of today's vlog. If you guys enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. I'm sorry that this video is going to be cut and short because we didn't get to finish this read. That's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video nevertheless, even though we've ended on a soft DNF. But yeah, I will speak to you guys very, very soon. Stay blessed, and as I always say, I love you all, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, my loves.